The federal government has released a draft of its new landmark strategy aiming to improve the lives of those living with autism.
So it's welcome news for Seamus Hart, who's been lobbying for change since being diagnosed at 27 years of age. And he joins us now with the CEO of Autism Awareness Australia, Nicole Rogerson. Good morning to both of you. Nicole, I'll go to you first. This new strategy is about embracing autism, so tell us what it involves.
Oh, look, I think it was time for us to say that we know we're a lot more aware of autism in the Australian community, but we know there remain an enormous amount of challenges, and there's a lot of areas of life that people with autism still find incredibly challenging. Australia has a national disability strategy, so it was decided that we needed one specifically for the autistic community. So this has been drafted over the last year with individuals with autism and their families and researchers putting together this plan of what we need to do to make life better for Australians with autism.
Well, the latest figures suggested up to 1 in 40 Australians are living on the autism spectrum. Are more people living with autism than they were previously in previous decades, or is it that a greater awareness is perhaps leading to more diagnoses?
I think it's the latter, yeah. We're a lot better at identifying autism in individuals. So we know that at least 200,000 Australians have autism, and it remains the biggest cohort of people in the NDIS at the moment. But remember, we've broadened the spectrum of what it means to be identified as autistic significantly over the last 30 years. So there will be people like Seamus who can come on and speak for himself and is a proudly autistic man, right through to people who will live with profound types of autism that mean they will need care 24/7 for the rest of their lives. So it's quite confusing by calling it all autism, of course, because you have to understand it affects people very differently. So the strategy had to be broad also.
Yeah, it's a big umbrella. And Seamus, that brings you in on this. You got diagnosed later in life. You obviously went through your childhood and your teens, living with this and not knowing what was going on, and your 20s. So what challenges did you face and what relief did the diagnosis bring?
Well, it's really interesting. To Nicole's point, part of the challenge was I was effectively undiagnosed. So despite that the diagnostic criteria has changed significantly, it means that people like me have been well and truly kind of covered under getting the support that we need. So for instance, part of getting a diagnosis is very validating. So understanding some of the sensory needs that I have around, I can't read under fluorescent lights, so I bet you can guess how much fun school was.
Right.
So I missed out on a lot that way. But in terms of technology updating, with the information revolution and where you can get stuff online, there's been a lot more access in terms of what I can do and also knowledge around what autism is.
Well, and I bet that is echoed for a lot of people's experience with getting a diagnosis later in life as well. What kind of support, what more support do you think should be made available to Australians living with autism?
It's an interesting one because I think it first starts with the education and also giving the right support to people in the workplace and in schools and in universities. So part of this is around understanding the phenomenology of the sensory experience. So I struggle with lighting, I also struggle with sounds, and also I know other people who struggle with smells. So part of it is accommodating for their needs. So the workplaces and schools become a lot more accessible to them, which are really small changes, like change over to an LED light bulb. It's very cheap, power saving, and it's also super inclusive.
All right. Well, great to have you both on for this. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.